All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Thursday to everyone. So today was a great day. Miners, Bitcoin as well. It was a good day to be in these stocks, I guess you could say. I'm seeing a lot of optimism here in the chat as well, which is good to see always. But we'll take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin, the miners as well. We'll also take a look at a couple of stories that we do have, which is one from Bitdeer. Their testing is complete on the CO2 miner. That's their next generation ASICs that they're working on. Those are looking pretty promising there. I have some questions on it. And then we'll also take a look into Hut 8, their new GPU as a service that they provided today. A lot of fluff in there, not a lot of details. I had to kind of dig a little bit for the details on Twitter and we got some responses from Big Sui there, Sue. So thank you to Sue for that. There's still some missing information that I'd like to know, but maybe we'll find that out in due time. But we'll cover that. And that's it. Not much else news going on today, so it should be an easy one. So you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And full disclosure down below that. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Helps me out tremendously. And let's get into what's going on here with Bitcoin and everything else. And we'll get into Q&A. All right, so Bitcoin had a great day today. It was up nicely, rebounded tremendously, almost double from where it was yesterday. Excuse me. So it was up, 3.24% on the day. It was up higher than that. It was closer to like 4 something at one point, but it did come down a little bit. But we did close above 65,000, which was nice to see. And we closed about our support line or resistance line, which is now support again at 63,700. We also closed above again the 200 simple day moving average, which is good to see there. So Bitcoin being up, 3%, 3.25% roughly. The miners did pretty good. They did almost a lot of them did a double at least, or some of them at least kept track with or kept pace with Bitcoin at least on the charts here. So that was good. ANY was up 11% today. Really no for any good reason there. Argo was up also 7.8% for really no good reason other than Bitcoin pumping, right? Now we had BitDigital up being 5%, Bitdeer up 6%. Bitfarms stayed even kind of with Bitcoin here, was up only 3%, 3.25%, a little bit more. Cypher was up nicely, 7.25. Cleanspark up 8%. CORZ up just barely. It was down most of the day here. So I was able to squeak out a little bit of a green towards the end of the day, which was kind of nice. It's up 0.25% roughly. Digihost was up 4.5%. DMG was up 2.6%. Hive was up 5.2%. Hut was up just barely 0.8% here. So the news that came out wasn't that great, I'm guessing. IREN was up 4.5%. Marathon was up also nicely today, 8.5%. Mawson was up 5%. Riot was up 4%. Stronghold was up 4%. And Wolf was actually down 1.3%. So could we maybe say that the non-correlated HPC plays did better today than those that have HPC? Maybe. We'll have to see how this continues going forward. But as Bitcoin starts ripping higher, I would expect some of these guys that are more into Bitcoin mining and have a more hash rate growth going forward in the next 3, 6, and 12 months, those guys should do pretty well, I think. Maybe even outperforming some of the guys that have been in HPC play here recently. But time will tell on that one. Let me see. WGMI was also up. The ETFs was up 4%. BitQ was up 5.25%. DAP was up 5.5%. And BKCH was up 5.5% as well. So good day for the ETFs if you're invested in those as well. When we look at, let's take a look at quickly here the network hash rate. Where's it at right now? It's up a little bit here, not much. 639 exahash on the 7-day average. And if we look at the 30-day average, it's going to come back up here to 646 exahash. And that will continue to go up as Bitcoin continues to go up in price potentially. Now, has a bull run started here? Potentially. September right now, we are up 10.31% on Bitcoin as it is. We still have a couple more days here. We have tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to close out the month. And we'll see how this goes. But if we get above like 10 or 15% on the monthly here, that's going to be a pretty good sign, I think, going into October, which October historically has been a really good month. We've only had 2 years. Out of how many years is that? We got 3, 6, 9. That's going to be 12 years. So 2 years out of 12 potentially were in the red. Everything else was in the green. So I'm looking for a really, really good October, as they call it, on October. And November has also been historically pretty good as well. So I think we are starting to start the bull run here a little bit. Time will tell more directly if that is the case. My only fear is that we might get our, the rug pulled underneath us, potentially at least once more before things really start going up. So if we do get that, that would definitely be a buying opportunity, in my opinion, at least at that point. All right, so that's it on that. Let's take a look at the stories that we do have here. The first one's going to be on Bitdeer. So Bitdeer completes testing of its latest CL2 Bitcoin mining chip. Initial prototype tests indicate an exceptional power efficiency ratio of 13.5 joules per terahash, but there's a caveat to it. We'll discuss it down below. So today they announced the successful testing of its latest Bitcoin mining chip Seal02 following tape out. So that's good news there. Seal02 uses the most advanced process nodes in partnership with Taiwanese Semiconductor, TSMC, a world-leading semiconductor foundry, an exceptional power efficiency ratio of 13.5 joules per terahash while running at a low voltage or ultra power savings mode. So that's interesting. I wonder what that represents in terahash at that point. They didn't specify it here. And then what would it be actually running if it was running at like normal mode? So that's a question that I have there. That's why I said that there's a caveat to it. Let's see. It was indicated in Seal02 chips verification prototype test, achieving the power efficiency milestone outlined in the Seal Miner technology roadmap announced in June 2024. Seal02 will be integrated into the company's upcoming Seal Miner A2 mining machines, with mass production scheduled to commence in November of this year, so about a month away or something like that. And then additionally, R&D work on the company's upcoming chip, Seal03, is ongoing, and the company's product release milestone is on track as well on that. So that's good news. My big question is, what are they operating at as far as terahash per machine, and then what would they be in joules per terahash if they were operating at normal operations? So that's the question that I have there. I'm sure we'll find that out in due course. But that's really what I'd like to know there. Okay, next here is going to be Hut 8. So Hut 8 provided us with some news today. So they have Hut 8 GPU as a service. Vertical goes live with inaugural deployment. And there's a lot, well, not too much information here. I was hoping they would provide a little bit more information as far as revenues, profit margins, things like that, like other companies have done. Digital, Core, right? Whenever they sign a nice deal there, even I think Mawson provided some information there as well. I was a little surprised by this that they didn't provide it, right? They keep saying how they want to be upfront with investors, open to investors, all that stuff, but yet they're still not providing it. But let's go through this press release and I'll provide you my thoughts on it as well. So Hut 8 today announced that its GPU as a service vertical has begun generating revenue as the inaugural GPU cluster for an AI cloud developer comes fully online. The cluster hosted a Tier 3 data center in Chicago. So that's kind of interesting also that they're using Chicago's data centers, one of the data centers in Chicago, that they're not using one of their own data centers because they want to be fully integrated. So this is kind of strange also. This comprises multiple Hewlett-Packard Enterprise HPEs, Cray supercomputers powered by 1,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, and then Hut partnered with HPE and Advisex to design, configure, and commission the cluster, which is being launched under Hut 8's subsidiary, Highrise AI, Inc. Hut 8's 5-year agreement with the AI cloud developer provides for fixed infrastructure payments plus revenue sharing. Okay, so what does that entail? So this was, I believe, Anthony posted this morning, and I posted a question on there. I read the press release. I'm like, okay, what's the revenue on this going to be like? And then Sue replied saying that's going to be, or actually, I posed a question, and then the BTC mining stock guy posed a question under that at Big Sui. Big Sui replied that it's $20 million per year for 5 years, right? But we don't know what their profit margin is going to be like. They got to pay the data center in Chicago. They got to pay for the machines if they bought them. Also, I asked the question, who bought the machines? I'm guessing it's Hut 8 that bought the machines. And then I just asked, what's the ROI going to be on them? And then profit margins on it. And I haven't heard back yet. So those are the unknowns right now, which are really important unknowns to know going forward. Because, okay, sure, you could be getting 20 million on it, but if you're getting 10 million only in profit on it or something like that after all expenses, is that a good outcome here? And then how long will it take you to pay off the H100s based on what you bought? Right, it's going to be 2 years, it's going to be 3 years. That's also important on that. So that's the question I had there. And Sue posted a video about 2 hours ago and explaining what they're doing there. And I got to sneeze. I'm getting my allergies back up today. Sorry about that. Hopefully I muted that and you guys didn't hear it. I'm sneezing and snorting. But she goes into detail about their 3 different vertices. I don't know how you pronounce that, but 3 verticals, right, where you have energy, then you have the compute part of things, and like Bitcoin mining, HPC, things like that. And then they're saying this is like the 3rd part of it as well. And if you really want to be integrated in all these things, I would think that everything would be under your own energy portfolio, build out the HPC under that as well, so you have control over it. But now They're going with a third-party data center in Chicago. They had to pay them. They also have to pay the consulting fees to the ones that they partner with. What was it? What was the company name? Oops, not that one. AdviseX, right? They got to pay those guys also. And configuring commissions for the cluster. So just overall, would like more information as far as the financials on this side of the deal. But it's good that they got it. But more information, I think, is going to be better going forward. But that is it. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Definitely interesting, and it's definitely small, on the smaller side of things compared to what Bitdigital's gotten, and definitely what Core has gotten. Core is a totally different deal from whatever these guys are doing here, or anybody else really, at least for the time being. We'll see if that also repeats to somebody else in this space. Okay, but that is it. Let's get into you guys' Q&A side of things, and we'll call it a day. One other thing I want to take a look at really quick while we're at it is just a quick update on the enterprise value per exahash here on the miners. Things kind of didn't really change too much. The only one that changed here is Cypher had a nice one up here in the last 2 days, so now it would be more of a value than Marathon based on their current exahash and future exahash as well. So that's the only thing that's really changed here. And then when we look at the enterprise value to BTC mined for last month, you can see how things stack up as well on that one. Okay. Then I got another sneeze coming up. Wow. Perfect timing. Every time, well, not every time, but every couple of days I do these videos, I end up getting an allergy attack. And maybe I'm allergic to my studio or something. All right, let's get into the Q&A side of things here. And then we'll see, maybe tomorrow we'll do another video. It's like a Ask Me Anything kind of format, but we'll see. Okay, so that's it. Let's get into the Q&A side of things. So if you guys have any questions, any thoughts. All right, what do we have here? Let's see here. Okay, hold on, I gotta go back up on the questions here. You guys have been pretty busy here. And also bear with me, it's about 15 seconds delay between when I read your questions maybe and when you guys hear it. Also, if there's a lot of questions, it's gonna be delayed for sure. Let's see. Okay, where are we at? Mark says, Mara had a good day. Yep, they did. Yeah, at one point they were up like 12%. They were pretty high up there. Cleanspark was also up like close to 10%, if not at 10% at one point, but they all pulled back. Can I reach $100 if BTC hits 120K? I don't think so. That would be only a 2x for Bitcoin. That would be, what, like a 10x? And that would be really, really tough. But you never know. FOMO and everything else, if they get also a HBC deal, maybe at that point they could do it. But I'm still thinking like $80, maybe conservatively. If Bitcoin goes to like 150,000, 180,000 at that point. Let's see. How does Bitdeer's new chips efficiency and performance compare to Bitmain miners? It's hard to tell right now because they provide these numbers where they're using like the high efficiency mode or low energy mode compared to what Bitmain's providing, which is basically like normal operations. So it's a little hard to figure that out right now. Oh, Penny's in the house right now. Hey, Penny, how you doing, buddy? What else? Penny, what did you think of the Hut 8 deal? If you want to chime in on that. Let's see. Question, do you think the pure play miners will do better once Bitcoin hits 70,000, also because they get more benefits from the price? Thanks. I do think so. I think once they get over a certain price, Bitcoin gets over a certain price, the pure play, not even the pure play miners, but I think the miners that still have huge growth going forward, and Bitcoin mining will do very well because at that point, I think it's at like 100-some thousand that it becomes equivalent for the miners to what the HPC business brings in. Okay. What is a good entry price for IREN? Anything you can get right now and anything that may come of it if we get a little bit of a drop. I would say that's a really good entry price right now. If you weren't able to get into it 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago, this would probably be the best one to get into right now. Well, best price to get into it right now. Hi, Sub, do you know when IREN takes delivery of those H200 machines? And is there any info on the customer for those new machines? Thanks. No info on the customer yet. I haven't heard anything. And I believe those new machines are supposed to be coming in, is it later on this month or next month? I think it's next month. Let's see. Pat K says, at miners to the moon, anything below 10 is a good price for IREN, in my opinion. I would agree. I've been buying since 550 in May till today at 905. We'll buy more next week if it stays below 10. Yeah. I may buy tomorrow. Things are starting to run up here, so I may put a couple more thousand into the miners here tomorrow. Let's see here. Sawmelon says Hut sucks. We'll have to see how they do. I try to be positive as much as I can, but I would really like to see them grow their self-mining business going forward. But we may not get that. Let's see. When we hit 68,000, do you think we go back to the midline at 60, or do we go lower? Let's see what we got going on here with Bitcoin. So if we go to 68,000, do you think we would go lower potentially? I don't think so, especially as we're heading into October, which is now called Uptober. That has usually been a really good month for us, unless something like a black swan event happens or something like that. I would believe that we'd be going up higher instead of just the 68. I think we might be above 75,000 by the end of October, if not higher than that, even like closer to 80,000 maybe, if things go well. Okay. What else here? Hey Seb, would you consider Bitfarms to be a 2x leverage on Bitcoin because of their synthetic HODL? No, their synthetic HODL is kind of small. It's not that big. For that reason, I would not. Let's see. I want to know the dollar per terahash it costs to make the seal. Yeah, that would be also nice to know. That's from Penny. Question: at what price would you stop buying Bitfarms? At what price? Probably like around $5 or $6. I think I would stop buying Bitfarms. Right now, I still think it's undervalued. I think it should be like 2x, so roughly around $4 and $4.50, somewhere around there. That's kind of where I think it should be. So anything below that, I would consider a good buy. If Bitcoin can stay over 62 by end of the weekend, we are looking good, boys. If it falls below 62, then next week might be shaky. Yeah, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. And he says Bitfarms is my number one holdings right now. Yeah, Bitfarms right now is number 3 because Cleanspark has run up and so has IREN. So dollar value wise, Bitfarms is my number 3. So that's why I want to buy more. Can you do your basic level of TA for us on Cleanspark? Thanks, Seb. On TA, well, I can try. I'm not going to be very good at it, so take it with a grain of salt. But Cleanspark has definitely come way down here. It's bounced off of the Fibonacci retracement level of 2.36, meaning I believe it should start going back up here, and it has from its peak, right? We did battle with the 0.382 Fib retracement. 0.5 we really didn't battle with it. Well, we did a couple of times, once, twice. Third time we fell below it. So I think there's still a huge upside potential here from where it's been as it is. RSI is, let's see here, right there. But obviously, price is much lower, so we need to reverse on the RSI side of things. How's the weekly looking at it? I mean, weekly is looking pretty good here. We're pretty low compared to where we have been in the past. Look at the RSI. Last time we were here, price was way back here at approximately $2, and we're at 10. So I think the weekly is looking pretty good. On it, I would just say be patient with it. Let's see where Bitcoin goes. Bitcoin goes up much higher, so will, I mean, Cleanspark this year I think might even break its this year's high of 24 or something like that. If Bitcoin goes to like close to 100,000 by the end of the year. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing on it right now, at least. Okay. Hi Seb, Hive or Bitfarms? Pick one if you have some cash to buy. Thanks. I would honestly go with Bitfarms because Bitfarms has much greater growth going forward than Hive. Hive, like I've said before, Hive is a great operator. They do great. They just want to maintain 1% of the Bitcoin network hash rate. Okay, so they don't want to be like the top 5 miner. Okay, so that's fine. They will still go up in value as Bitcoin goes up in value, but I think maybe Bitfarms will get a better bid as far as price appreciation goes. Let's see here. IREN has more than 800 H100 machines and over 1,000 H200, so this deal with Hut 8 looks small. I mean, yeah, 20 million, what is that a month? 20 million a month, was that 1.4 million or something like that? A month, I think it is. Let me see, let me do that on the calculator here. I can't do it in my head right now. 20 divided by 12, 1.6 million. So it's close to what IREN was getting with Poolside. IREN was getting in like 1.2 million or something like that from their deal, and then them getting newer H200s, depending what they get as far as customer there, they could be looking at around the same possible numbers, maybe a little bit higher. Let's see. Bevney says Mara always runs up higher or up fastest. Like you said, they have the name recognition. Yeah, they do have the name recognition. What else we got here? Today really shows that when BTC breaks all-time high, the pure play miners will be the ones who rise the most. I am in miners for the leverage BTC plays, so I'll stick to the pure BTC miners. Okay, yeah. And it's tough to show that when Bitcoin's going down and miners are going down, but this is typically what happens. Once Bitcoin starts going up, the miners really do start rocketing as well. Let's see. Brad, I watch every single video of him. He is backing a little back from Bitfarms. I'm not backing back from Bitfarms. I still would like Riot off their back more, but I'm still buying as much as I can. Let's see. Hey, Sebastian, IREN says they will get to 31xs by end of year. My calculations say it could be 32, 33. What is your guess? They could possibly get a little bit higher. Depending how fast they can deploy the machines that they're getting, but they also only order machines to get to 30 exahash. So I'm surprised they're getting 31. Maybe they can squeeze a little bit more juice out of those machines, possibly, by tuning and things like that. So maybe that's how they're able to get to 31 exahash potentially. Not sure. Okay. When will we find out the results on the shareholders' votes on the 300 million dilution for Cleanspark? Isn't that coming up here in October, I believe? Sometime I'll have to look into that one. If anybody knows, please comment. Okay. Where do you see Mara in numbers when BTC hits 120? Thanks, Seb. That's 2x from here, so I would expect him to be at least 3 to 5x from where we are right now, at the very minimum. Somewhere in there, conservatively at least. Who's the worst CEO, Asher or Jason? Gosh. You guys really like putting me on spots, don't you? I wouldn't say anyone is the worst. They both have different points of view on how to run things. So I wouldn't say that the worst. Putting me on a spot like that. Let me see. Next question. Have you thought since we made new hires before the halving that maybe the cycle will end earlier? Sorry if I'm any typos. I'm driving. Well, don't be texting and driving, buddy. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe the cycle will end earlier. So no, actually I think it might be in a more of an extended cycle. If that's the case, if we're having a new all-time high before the halving event, that's meaning we're having more adoption and everything else. In case that would result, I would think, in a longer extended cycle, potentially. See, Bitcoin looking very steady right now. It doesn't have big drops like it did a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. Would you consider Riot to be a 2x because of their Bitfarms? No, I mean 2x. I think the miners in general, when you look at it, if Bitcoin goes 2x, the miners should do at least like a 4 to 6x on that. So that means, so Bitcoin goes 2, they should do like 4 or 6x, right? So it's like the miners are usually like a 3x on Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up 2, they should be like a 6x on average, more or less. I go with a little bit lower, 4 to 6x, somewhere in there. I mean, that also helps, but you're talking about the Bitfarms HODL that they have the shares on it. The shares they own are valued at what right now? Probably around 200 some million. So Bitcoin goes, that's kind of interesting. So if Bitfarms goes up, let's say from 2 to like 14, right, which would be like a 7x. That would be a 7x on them. So that would be quite a bit. They would go from 200 million to like 1.4 billion. I don't know. Let's see. Riot was upgraded by analysts expecting 15 next. Do you agree? Riot, let's see. Where do I think Riot should be right now? Let's take a look. And then going forward, if they can fix their operation, well, not really fix, but just improve their operational uptime, I definitely think they can get to, what do they say? They're 15. Oh, right. Okay, so one of the analysts came out with 15, and then here's what I have for them. The latest numbers I have are about a month old now, but I have analysts going as a high of $23, $17 for the average, and $9.50 for the low. I have them right now between $8.38 and $12.57 on it because of their poor uptime. If they fix that, then yes, I would definitely think that they should be at least around 15 at the very minimum. Okay. Sorry, guys. My nose and my passages are draining because of allergies. What else we got here? Would you still buy at these prices or wait for a possible pullback? I would just dollar cost average in. If you get a pullback, buy a little bit more at that point. But I think pullbacks are going to be hard to come by in the next couple of months, potentially, based on historical events that we've seen with Bitcoin. Let's see. Hi, so let's say Bitcoin shoots up to 150,000, starts consolidating for a month or so like it did this time in the past 6 months. Would you think then it was another leg up or that cycle ends? Yeah, that's going to be interesting there. How do you figure that out, right? Historically, the cycle wouldn't end until sometime like September, October of next year. But if we get to 115,000 by, let's say, January, February or something like that in 2025, could that be the top at that point? Do you sell? That's why I think I'm going to be selling it around 100,000. When Bitcoin gets to that, I'll sell 5%, maybe 10% or something like that. Start taking profits at that point. Lock in those profits. And if we do dip, we see that we're dipping below, like 80,000 or something like that. Maybe I'll at that point like go hard on the selling side of things. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. My view is that Bitcoin will go up when BlackRock, Vanguard, etc. all decide they want it to go up. There have been no commercials on TV to get uninformed retail involved. Coincidence? Interesting thought there. Let's see. If Riot acquires Bitfarms and you get Riot stock, would you hold that or sell it and move it into a different miner? Oh, let's see. It would depend on Riot, right? If Riot, I keep saying, if they can increase their operational uptime, if they can do that, then maybe I would skip it at that point. They do have a large HODL position as well. That helps them out. And if they get Bitfarms, one of the better operators here in this space, I think that would be a good thing for them. So maybe at that point I would hold on to it. Let's see here. I'm all in on Bitfarms, but I'm expecting them to take off more than other miners, so I'm looking for some diversity. Okay. Here, let's see here. Hey, Sebastian, my miner bag consists of 53% Cleanspark, 20% IREN, and 19% Bitfarms. Is this good distribution, or should I reduce a little bit of Cleanspark and put it into IREN and Bitfarms? Depending when you got into Cleanspark, if you got in at like the low prices that we had the sales on it going way back, I would hold on to it. It's kind of similar to what I have here with my portfolio right now with Cleanspark, Bitfarms, and IREN as well. Except I think IREN is a little bit more. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, you have IREN a little bit higher than Bitfarms. That's kind of what my portfolio is right now, if you look at it, based on value. I'm holding on to it. I'm just buying all three if I can. Maybe tomorrow I'll buy some more. What else we got here? Bitfarms share price is really testing the patience of many. Hope it will attract attention of Wall Street someday. It's already attracted Wall Street attention. Institutions have been buying it as well as they have been buying other companies here. But if we look at the numbers here for institutions, they're not as high as some of the other ones, but they're increasing, which is a good sign, I think. So if we look here, as of beginning of the month here, their percentage increased to 23%, which is the highest it's been in the last 6 months. So that's a good sign, I think. Price target went down a little bit here for them. But we did have now 5 strong buy ratings for them and 1 buy rating. So that is an improvement there as well. So I think we might see some more institutions buying into them in the past month. Once we do this update in September sometime, which will probably be on Monday, because Bitfarms always provides the numbers on Mondays. Or not Mondays, but on Tuesday. Sorry, the first of the month on that one. What else? Hey, Seb, do you think Wolf crashes to maybe 3 or 4 range while other miners go to 20-25% in the next month or so? If they don't come out with any type of update on their HPCI play or what's going on there, maybe, because it's been a while since we've heard anything on that. And the longer it goes without anything being heard about it, I think the stock will maybe consolidate, go like sideways trading for a while. And then the other miners might do better at that point. What else? Let's see. Bitdeer didn't even hit McNally Money's top 10 pick list on ongoing miner madness. And the reason for that is because they have a lot of their growth is not until like the middle of 2025, towards the end of 2025 and into 2026. That's possibly why. Which at that time, if history repeats, we would be pretty much at the end of the bull run there. Let's see. Talked about that. So do you think Cleanspark will 3 to 5x when Bitcoin hits? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would think by then it should do at least 3 to 5x if Bitcoin hits that high. What else was that? Talked about that one. Let's see. IREN is putting in 13.5 exahash miners in the next 6 buildings compared to 15 exahash miners in the last 4 buildings, so should gain exahash with more efficient miners. Yeah. Let's see. A lot of people, especially TA folks like Freedom and Luca, are saying that the cycle will end at the latest in Q1 of 2025. 6 months bull cycle from October. Jeez. I don't think so. Well, I don't think so. I think it's going to be maybe even longer cycle than what we're expecting. Maybe. Just from what I'm seeing here, the previous new all-time high before the Hemming event, institutions being in this space as well, they're going to want to pump it. Just like they pumped gold when the ETFs came out at that point. So is there any scenario you see Riot cross 80? I would think they would need to have their uptime much closer to the 95% point at that point and continue to grow their hash rate tremendously like they are right now. The big thing is operational uptime, I think, right now. Let's see. I find it strange that even with Riot's investment in Bitfarms that Riot doesn't rise higher. Because the theory there is they could sell out, right, at any moment, I think. So, yeah, and you never know. Well, I think we would know on it because I think they would have to report it to the SEC in that case. But I think maybe that's the reason for it. I could be wrong on it. Let's see. Let's see here. Seb, try to buy local honey and drink it. Heard it helps with allergies. Local only, no store bought. Yeah, I heard that too. That honey, that always helps. But it's not like I get it every day. It's like I get it every couple other days. So that's kind of the strange part. And just it'll hit me like at night. I don't know whether it's because I'm tired and things like that, or sometimes it hits me like during the middle of the night. I'll be sleeping at like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I just start sneezing like crazy. Nose starts running like crazy. Not sure. Okay. So if you had to pick only one stock between Cleanspark and IREN, which one would it be and why? I would go with Cleanspark. Good history record, just like IREN does, but they have a hodl position, which IREN does not currently. So I think that might be a plus for them. Okay. Seb, do you think Bitdeer's ASICs will be able to compete with Bitmain? Possibly, but we need to see some more data on them. There isn't a lot of data on them right now. We need to see what their terahash is and the joules per terahash at like normal operational mode, not low power energy mode. You need to see all those things. You put a miner into low power energy mode, you can make even older miners look really good. So we need to see those numbers, and then we can really compare them. Let's see here. Does the dividend that BitX pays make up for the decay factor on the 2x leverage? That I'm not sure. Somebody else maybe with better experience in that might know, but that's a little bit above my head. Have institutions been beginning to buy? They've been buying. I mean, Cleanspark has been bought up quite a bit here. Let me pull up Cleanspark. You guys can see the numbers for it from at least the beginning of September here for them. Where's it at? Here it is. So Cleanspark has 46.49% of the company outstanding shares or float owned by institutions, right? 113 million shares. That's a lot, and it's been increasing pretty much every month here. We've had, I think, 1 month of decline, which was in August, a little bit, but other than that, it's been improving. Yeah. Well, we had a little bit of decline, but I think that's percentage declined here because there might have been share dilution here, but number of shares have been increasing here. And the number of institutions buying into it has also been increasing as well. Okay, let's go back here. One more. Let's see. Ed says, I think Riot is in ceasefire with Bitfarms until just before the end of this bull run. Then they will sell and fire back at Bitfarms and buy them out at a cheap price. Just my thoughts. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And at that point, they'll have Stronghold in there as well. But that's going to be a while out, I think. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to even work out, really, to be honest. I mean, you would have to be in a bear market in order for them to do that, possibly. Sell at the peak, yes, okay. Keep the change that you made there, and then buy them out, possibly in another bear market. Okay, maybe. Seb, do you think that we will see benefits of Q3 update for our miner stocks, or is it going to be neutral to the price action? It's going to be probably pretty neutral here. The miners that have grown tremendously, like Cleanspark, IREN, maybe in Bitfarms, as well as Riot, they should see better numbers. Maybe we'll look at those numbers next week sometime with the miners. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do that in the following week because a lot of miners are going to be providing updates. But the following week, we maybe do that. We'll take a look at all the miners as far as what their income was in Q3 compared to Q2, and which ones possibly improved on the Bitcoin mining side of things. But yeah, I would expect it to be kind of neutral. What percentage of your portfolio is crypto proxies? Very well. Bitcoin's one of the large percentage of it. All the other ones that I have are minuscule, very small. What else we got here? Okay, B says, was lucky to get into Bitfarms 2023, 30,000 shares. Wow, USD exciting times for us Bitfarm holders. That's great. You got me beat as far as price there. My average is like $1.60 something. Still really good though, but I was buying it also like 90s, 80s, and I think it went down to like 70s and 60s at that point. Let's see here. Hogbody says, late to the party, struggled getting the kids to sleep. Damn it. I know your struggles. I know how that is when my boys were younger. The lack of interest in Soluna holdings is amazing. Respecting the fib levels like a dream for trading. Huge upside. Interested yet or no? I am not. They're small. They're doing much better than they were just a year ago. So that's good. But with Bitcoin going up, I think all the miners will benefit from it. But in the long run, they still have, I would have to see their balance sheet, what their balance sheet looks like. And they've been also partying a lot more with other parties. So it's not just, a lot of it is not on them. It's partnering with somebody, so you're splitting the revenues a little bit there as well. Let's see. Do you still stick to your IREN price target of 80 and Cleanspark 65 at BTC reaches? Yeah. Yeah, that hasn't changed at all. If we see some more dilution from these companies, then that might change a little bit because dilution happens and you're going to get that a little bit. But right now, it's still those. Let's see. Bevney says, Seb, you need to take Reacting. I take it for my allergies and it helps a lot. Okay, I'll have to look into it. Real local honey is hard to get most places. We do have actually a farmer that does honey here, not too far away from me, a couple minutes away from where I live. I may have to look into that. Let's see. Des Market Stats says, Riot will buy Bitfarms after they get diluted from the SDIG acquisition. Well, the dilution is only like 10%. So at least back then when they announced it was like 10%. I don't know what it's going to be right now. But at that point, if Bitcoin's over 100,000, I mean, they should be probably, 2.5 billion, something like that. Maybe even 3 billion at that point. I don't think Riot's going to be looking to buy them out at that point. Okay. What happens to ETFs in a crypto winter? At the time, do you see ETFs becoming a buy similar to miners? Yeah, I would think that if we get into a crypto winter and, get really attractive pricing on those would be a buy similar to the way miners are. Let's see. I have never seen you analyze applied digital. Any thoughts on it? No, I don't know too much about it. I know that they are looking to get into HPCI right now, I believe more so, than Bitcoin mining. And historically, they did not provide their monthly operational updates, which is what I rely on. So if a company doesn't provide those, I don't track them. What price BTC Bitfarms can do 10 USD, Hive 15 USD, IREN 50 USD, Bitdigital 12 USD. They have to be north of probably 100, 120,000 for most of these guys here. IREN at 50, yeah, north of 120,000 at least at that point. Fred Red says, maybe you're allergic to the dark. Maybe. But I also get it. I used to think I was allergic to where I work in my office. I would come in the morning and like within a half an hour I would start sneezing and things like that. I don't know, maybe it's air conditioning also I could be allergic to. Maybe I need to change out the filters on my furnace. Maybe that's the thing there. What else we got? Once the pension fund's monthly buys pick up, that will be a constant buy. Okay, that's also true. Okay. Flores says, Seb, I need to challenge you on IREN versus Cleanspark question from a little while ago. You say Cleanspark due to HODL, but there are different scenarios with HPCI. If I want HODL, I go to a MicroStrategy. Okay, that's a fair point. Plus, IREN is literally undervalued. So is Cleanspark at this point. And with HPCI, if they do get HPCI, depending on the contract, then maybe perhaps they would be more of a better bet at that point. But right now, it's a question mark, more or less. And that's why I'm saying Cleanspark. But I own both, so right, I'm buying also these guys. So it's, I don't know how to put it. If one does better than the other, great, because I own both of them, so it doesn't really matter to me. Oh, what else here? Para says FTX refund deadline October 31st. Interesting how it has not received coverage like Germany dumping and MIT Cox dumping. Is it going to be all given out at once, or is it going to be given out over a period of time? I'm not sure on that one. Let's see, Brad, who are the top three miners percentage-wise of their float and owned by institutions? Let me see I thought I have that spreadsheet here. Let me see if I have institutions. And if I have that data in it. Institutions, this is as of percentage of float. Let me see here. Shares. Institutions change. I have the change from 6 months ago, month over month, but I don't have the data on them right now. So we could go through all the companies here if we wanted to spend not even a couple minutes. How are we going to do that? Let's just go through them all. See where everybody else is at. Let me go to screen here. So here's Bitdeer. Bitdeer as of September 5th had 12% ownership, right? Bitdigital had 46%, pretty high. Bitfarms was at 23%. Cypher, where's Cypher? Cypher is at 33%. That has also been increasing nicely here. Cleanspark 46%. CORZ Scientific has increased tremendously here recently as well. That's at 60%. I think that might be the top one here. Hive is at, where's Hive? 32%. Hut 8 is at 59%, also pretty high here. IREN, let's see, IREN right now is at 51%. Marathon is 58%. And Riot is at 46, almost 47%. TeraWolf is at 45%. So a lot of these guys are pretty high as it is already. Compared to where they were just a year ago, that's a huge improvement from where they were a year ago. Okay. Let's see. How much BTC you have, Seb? I have enough. I'm not going to say how much I have, but I have enough. What else we got here? Let's see. Flora says, Cleanspark is good, but suffering from dilution more than usual. Now, and IREN is catching up with their exahash. IREN, for me, is the winner. Fair? Yeah. But IREN has also been diluting as well. So has Cleanspark. All these guys have been diluting. And you're probably talking about the 300 million that Cleanspark is adding to their shares available to them. Yeah, that hasn't been good look. I've explained it already so many times. So if anybody needs an explanation again, let me know. Let's see. See here. Flora says, I'm planning for IREN to 10x from where they are right now. Where are they at right now? 9? That would give them $90. Okay, maybe. I'm thinking around $80, so we're pretty close. Okay. Let's see here. Seb, after the Q3 results, could you do an end-of-year scenario with BTC holdings, exahash, and 100 BTC factored to give a precise price prediction and give the ultimate end-of-year pricing? I could try that, but we're going to get those results probably in, when is it going to come out? Probably middle October, end of October. No, November, middle of October. No, middle of November, end of November, somewhere around there. So we won't have that much time. We'll have maybe, I would have to do that probably in December, which would give us only like, what, 2-3 weeks before everything is done? That might be a little tough. Okay. Daz Market says, what I meant was Riot will buy more Bitfarms shares after they get diluted because they agreed to hold 15% of Bitfarms. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Okay. Why do you have IREN at $80 and Cleanspark at 65? But you said you would pick Cleanspark over IREN according to you. Price targets, IREN would make the better gains from current share price. The reason is Cleanspark shares has more shares outstanding than IREN does right now. At 65, Cleanspark would have a much higher price or much higher market cap than IREN would. So that's the reason why for it. But also, if they continue, depending where Bitcoin goes and how well they get valued on the Bitcoin hodl that they have, I'm not really factoring that into it. So if you add in the hodl even more, I mean, they could be even higher potentially, but this is just a conservative numbers, right? I'm not saying this is going to be the exact numbers that they're at. They could go higher than this. Both of these guys could go much higher than this. I'm just being conservative on the numbers. Let's see. According to a popular crypto analyst, Ali Martinez, Bitcoin price is on the cusp of entering the next bullish phase that will yield parabolic rally Bitcoin price to reach a high, 400,000. That would be fantastic. At that point, I would be retiring. Flores says, fair enough, you own both. I mean, Cleanspark, love it. Yeah, I do. Just, I don't know which one's going to do better. They're both great companies. I have huge respect for the team at Cleanspark and at IREN, and even now with Ben at Bitfarms right now. So I'm all for those guys. Whichever one does better, it doesn't really matter to me. I own both, and that's why I own both, because they're just great companies. Let's see. Himanashi says you always says Bitfarms should be 2x, that is 4, and it should do 5 to 8x. Then it should be like 20 to 32. No. I'm saying from here it should be like 5 to 8x, but it should be already valued 2x higher than what it is. That's what I'm kind of looking at. Let's see. Why would a miner announce a dilution early in the bull run? Why not wait a little longer to get a better return for shares? The reason for that is they are running up to their limit. They're at 250 some million shares right now. Their limit is 300 million. So that's why they're forward looking. They're going to have to, dilute shares going forward as well. But it's not going to be, I keep saying this, it's not going to be for another probably 5 to 7 years. I'm guessing that they're going to use up those 300 million shares unless they start a buying binge or something like that and buying everybody else out. Let's see. Al says, I believe Cleanspark meeting is on October 25th. Yeah, I thought it was in October as well. Okay. And then if Mara announced an HPC deal, how do you think it would affect share price? Anything close to when CORZ signed with Corby? That would depend on the deal again. All right, if they get a deal for 20 million, that's not going to move the price. If they get a deal for 2 billion over the next 5 years, okay, that's more substantive. So it will depend on that. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Hi, Seb. Cleanspark new dilution 350 million. Is that a real figure? Right now, they have 300 million shares that they can use up. They've used up 250 some million shares already, right? So they only have like 40 some million shares left to use up. They are amending their incorporation paperwork or incorporation figures for the corporation. They're adding an additional 300 million to the corporation overall shares that are available to them. That does not mean that they will be automatically inputted in as shares outstanding, right? So they will pull on those additional 300 million shares over the next 5 to 7 years, just like they've done the last 200 million shares over the last 3 years, okay? Do you see risk that some miners' management teams are mostly focused on getting a lot of financial benefit to then exit when the halving is over? I'm not sure I understand the question. Focused on getting a lot of financial benefits to then exit when the halving is over. You mean when the bull run is over? We've talked about it. We talked about some of the share-based compensation that we're seeing here in the industry, and it is egregious in some instances. It should not be that high. And we've talked about it. We've bashed companies that have done it as well. But yeah, a lot of the companies are using this space to enrich themselves. Okay, then what should the price of Bitfarms be at 150, 180? Between $15 and $20, somewhere around there, I would think. Okay. H says, I will be retiring with you with my 145,000 shares of Bitfarms when BTC reaches 400,000. Yeah, if it reaches that, oh my gosh. I probably won't retire completely. I'll just probably retire from my day job and, spend a little bit more time doing research on the miners and doing these types of things because I enjoy doing these. Let's see. Jason or Ben, who would you pick to keep CEO position if they merge? To be honest, I'll be honest with you guys here. Ben's been in the position here only for a couple months. I would need to see how he does with at least like a year under his belt. Right now, things are definitely blurry with everything that's going on between Riot and Bitfarms there. But from what I've heard from Ben and everything else, he's doing a fantastic job. Jason has been with Riot for quite a while. I'm not happy, as you guys know, with the operations there. So it would take a little bit more time for me to have a really good understanding of how well Ben does. And then maybe I'll be able to decide. Right now, it's just too early to decide, really. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Bitfarms should take off after September operations report. If they get up to like 12, 13 exahash installed and operational, that, yeah. But Bitcoin's going up also, that's going to help them out also. So do you think IREN will make the most in the coming 12 months, even more than Bitfarms and Cleanspark, 5x from here or 7x from here or even 10x from here, looking for the biggest bang or for the buck? That's always going to be tough, right? You're not going to always pick. I mean, we're thinking it's going to be like Cleanspark, Bitfarms, IREN, possibly as the top performers here. It could be one of the smaller guys, that are under the radar that just go 15, 20x. So that's always the tough part. I'm looking for the ones that are maybe a little bit more safer bet. And I just, could IREN do better than the other guys? Sure. They come up with a great contract for HPC, valued, however many millions or something like that. That could definitely raise the stock up on that as well. But time will tell. That's why I own all three of them. I own also CORZ. I'm diversified in the space as much as I can be. Let's see. And for the bank, and don't have any IREN. If you don't have IREN right now, you definitely should get some IREN. Let's see. Mara only has very low quality buildings. Wouldn't they need to build new buildings before entering the HPC miner group? That may be why Hut 8 isn't hosting their own computers. They are purchasing. You would definitely need to change out. You would need to do basically what Core is doing, is transition their buildings to a tier 3 data center. And that's expensive. That's why they have Core Weave helping them out with that cost there. Let's see. Don't forget Mara. I think IREN, Cleanspark, Bitfarms, and Mara will lead this cycle. Yeah, potentially. We might see also Cypher potentially in there. TeraWolf is questionable for me right now because they're not growing their hash rate. Plus, they haven't really mentioned any future growth here. So that one's questionable unless they really do get a huge contract with Hyperscaler or something like that. But at that point, you're going to be fixed in for a certain amount of years. You're going to have to figure out how to grow after that, right? Whether it's going to be additional HPCI business, or would they actually go into Bitcoin mining, which doesn't sound like they want to do that. They want to go more on HPCI business. Okay. What is the institutional buying and selling as of late? Not sure. We'll take a look at that number once we do the updates for September. Let's see. Brad, thanks for all your hard work, Seb. You're a selfless man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you're very welcome on that, too. Okay, I think I've covered to all you guys' questions. I'll wait a couple more seconds. If we don't have more questions, we'll call it a day. We're going on almost an hour here. And then tomorrow we might do like a Ask Me Anything type of deal. Let's see, we got to have a couple more here. Bevneet says, also said, remember when FOMO hits, miners like any will 10x from price rate. That's what we've historically seen. That's why I'm being conservative on my numbers, right? I would rather get my conservative numbers than be the moon boy and saying that the miners are going to do 20x. I want to have realistic hopes for everybody. What else? Question, can you show us the crystal ball on the tabletop so people can get their own? Geesh. Yeah. Crystal ball. I have a crystal glass. Does that make it? Let's see what else. Rex Finance said, Finance, was it Rex Finance or was it Finance on Rex? I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about. So next today that if we get a recession, CoreWeave would go bankrupt for sure. Do you agree? No, because I think HPC AI play is just too hot right now, and I think money will continue to flow into that. I don't see that stopping. Companies are going to be looking for advantages, and one way they're going to do that is by getting into AI, possibly letting people go, unfortunately, from some positions. See this one here. Are you adding more IREN, and do you recommend buying more at these prices? Yes, I will be buying some more tomorrow. I will be putting in a couple $1,000s, and I'll go evenly across Cleanspark, Bitfarms, and IREN as well. Those are the three that I want to continue to buy while they're still relatively low, where I still think I can get at least a 5x or like a 3x, 5x out of them. I'll continue to buy them as long as I have the cash to do it. Okay. Fred says, interesting chat, not much interest in HUT, even when recent news. Yeah. And I think that's mainly because their self-mining is going by the wayside mostly. Seems like at least that way. They're going to be hosting with Bitmain instead of buying the machines themselves. They're looking to operate in different factions or different factors. Managed hosting, HPC AI, that's kind of where they're looking to get into more so, I think. Do you think we will see a short squeeze this cycle? Depending how, we might see it. I could see a little bit of a short squeeze if we get a little bit too leveraged to the upside. We could possibly get that. Okay. Let's see. Were you impressed with Ben's interview, or at least comfortable that the company is in good place and ready to grow and stock move way up? Yeah, I listened to the whole interview, and I gotta say again, I talked about it yesterday that Anthony and Bryce did a fantastic job with the questions on Ben and everything else, and the way Ben answered it, I was very impressed. So, as you guys know, I was a strong proponent of Ben getting into the CEO position there back in, like May or April, whenever they had issues with the CEOs. And I can be really happier with the way he's done things so far. Right, but it's only been a couple months, so we need, another half a year to a year to really evaluate his performance and see how he does with the company. What is the target price for both the cycle? That's a tough one there. Again, right? Not much growth here going forward in Bitcoin mining. They haven't provided any guidance of what they're looking to grow into next year as well. And it seems like their interest is more in HPC business than Bitcoin mining. So it's hard to tell without having any concrete contracts in place for HPCI or anything like that. So I just don't know where they might end up at that point. Okay, but I think we're all caught up here. And we're going on definitely an hour here now. So we'll close it off. Today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. We'll see how Bitcoin does. We had a great day today on Bitcoin and miners. Where's Bitcoin right now? Bitcoin is actually down a little bit here, just down 0.25%. Actually, why is it showing me down when it's showing me up over here? That's weird. Oh, I'm on the weekly. Duh. I gotta go to the daily. Bitcoin's just down 0.25% right now, so it's not looking too bad. We'll see how Friday does. And if anything, tomorrow night, we'll do like a Ask Me Anything. Unless we have some really good news, we'll also talk about that as well. But some of you guys in the chat here have requested me to do a live stream tomorrow because you guys look forward to these. So we'll do one. We'll see how it goes. Okay. But that's it. Again, thank you so much for coming in. I greatly appreciate you guys. Love you all for coming in here. The questions are great always. Like I keep saying, you guys make me also think, which is good, because then I get to kind of rationalize my own thoughts and opinions on air, and you guys help me kind of work things out a little bit as well. So I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, have a great Friday tomorrow. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, if you guys don't come into the live stream, not a big deal, right? I know you guys have Fridays and you're celebrating Fridays. So if I don't see you, have a great weekend. But we will get back into the normal swing of things on Sunday as well. So I'll probably see you guys there. All right. Have a great one. I'll see you then.